Just like the 49ers are going to try to figure out what they can and cannot do with Trey Lance. So I was talking about Trey Lance training camp expectations. What are some of your expectations for Trey Lance starting off? What do you want to see or hear from the 49ers and what's coming out of there from the beat reporters from not just day one, but I'd say the first week of training camp practice?
Well, I don't want to hear anything about arm fatigue. I'll tell you that. That's the one thing I definitely don't want to hear anything about, which, I don't know where that came from. It doesn't really make too much sense. But for me,
Hold
what I
on,
want
it
to see.
does. Okay, hold on. I got to stop you there. The arm fatigue does make a little sense because last week I was out there and I have, athletes that I work with and I'm throwing balls, I'm throwing passes, and I threw passes like 2 days in a row. The next thing I know, like the third day, I'm like, this shoulder's a little tight. It's a little tired. And I'm like,
But Croc,
is this arm fatigue?
He's a 22-year-old kid, man. I mean, that
Okay.
kid, like, when you're 22, man, and this is a long time for me, man. I used to be able to run around, do whatever, and then like not even feel anything. Now, if I get out of bed the wrong way, I'm gonna be sore for a few days. So, that's just me being old, though. No, in terms of Trey Lance, I think we all know the arm, the leg, we get all that, the deep downfield stuff. I think the intermediate stuff is what you want to see in terms of how Kyle wants him to operate in the offense, talking about, the intermediate timing throws, those type of things that you want to see. Maybe he'll dial that back a little bit since that was playing more to Jimmy Garoppolo's strengths. And we do know that that's what Kyle really wants to run. But you do want to see Trey hit those passes to open things up a little bit more, just because everybody's expecting the big arm. We all know that that's there. We all know that he can hit the long ball. We get all that. But if he's able to improve in that area, it makes him so much more dynamic, and it will quiet a lot of the doubters, I guess, concerns in terms of, well, he can't hit those passes and those deep passes aren't going to always be there. If he can show that he's hitting those and coming off play action, hitting those deep throws that we know he can, that intermediate stuff is really, really what I'm going to be looking for in terms of, is he hitting those timing throws? Is he spotting where the defense is? Is he tight fit windows? Those throws that Jimmy actually did make and he was very good at. If he can show that he's improving in that area, I think it's a big plus for the 49ers.
Definitely. And when you look at Trey Lance, and let's say there are negative things that come out, right? Like maybe there are some missed throws. Maybe the timing isn't quite right. Like, what is your approach to hearing that? How will you report it on the Sprint Right Option podcast?
No, I mean, I'm just going to give it to you guys straight. I mean, last year I felt that I was very down the middle. When Jimmy had a good day, I said he had a good day. If Trey struggled a little bit, I made sure I talked about it. Again, it's all about being objective at this point. The one thing that I did notice last year with Trey Lance, and this is the part that has me confident going forward, and he's going to have to continue to show this, is whenever he did miss a pass, or let's just say it was a near interception, the kid never hung his head. He went right back in there and he went right back to firing. Like he never looks like he's overwhelmed, or he never looks like something is getting him down, even when things aren't going well. And that's what you really want to look for with any quarterback, especially a young one. Everything looks good when everything's flying, right? Like when you're going well and everything looks good, that's not how you really judge a quarterback. How I judge a quarterback is when things aren't going well, and how do you respond to that? That's what you're really going to find out more about Trey, less than when he hits a 60-yard bomb and everything looks good, cool, but okay, now the defense is playing you a little bit tighter. You're a little bit off. How do you respond? And I think that's what you're going to be looking for. So, yeah, like last year you saw it. I think he'll improve on that. And I think that's really what has me more confident going forward with him, is that the kid never really looks like he gets frazzled, and he never looks like it's too much for him. And that's a good thing.
Right. That definitely is a good thing, especially when you have Kyle Shanahan as your head coach. And we had Tabor Pepper on the Locked On 49ers podcast last week. And Pepper talked about Kyle Shanahan and kind of his expectations and how he definitely can coach you hard and he has a certain standard. And I think we've seen that when it comes to his quarterback. I don't think he coaches anybody harder than not just his quarterbacks. I think his receivers as well. But if you are a young quarterback, I think at least so far from what we've seen, Trey Lance seems to respond well to Kyle Shanahan's coaching in the way that he is, and just understands, hey, this is the expectations he wants me to get here. And if he does, obviously the 49ers will be a much better team for it.
The Athletic, Mike Sandel of The Athletic, says that a rival coach told him that it would be an early Christmas present if the 49ers got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo so that he can't play for them and then make Trey be your guy. Just wanted to pass that out there. A rival coach who will be playing the 49ers this year also is what he says.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's good, and I get that. And I talked about this heading into, and I put this comment up here. Croc just said, y'all don't y'all don't understand football. He was talking about something I said in the back about Deebo Samuel as a receiver, but I've talked about it heading into week 18, 49ers taking on the Los Angeles Rams. And a lot of people are like, oh man, you got to go with Trey Lance. You got to go with Trey Lance. And my pushback was, and you can go back and listen to this, I'm pretty sure on the morning show we talked about it. If I'm an opposing team, I want you to play Trey Lance over Jimmy Garoppolo, even if Jimmy Garoppolo is a little banged up or whatever. And my stance on it was, if Jimmy Garoppolo can throw a football, if he can throw and he can be solid, if we can get him through this game, if he take a shot, whatever the case is with his thumb and his shoulder, everything he has going on, I'm going with him over the rookie. And I got a lot of pushback on that. And I've seen a lot of pushback throughout this offseason on that about, oh, well, Trey Lance couldn't play over injured Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, he must be trash, whatever. And it's like, no, I don't want to put a rookie in a situation where my season is on the line and I have to depend on this guy who hasn't seen a lot of things from a defense, who is still kind of looking and trying to figure things out, who a team is going to be able to really disguise things and throw everything, throw the whole table, plate, everything, whole playbook at this young guy and make him make quick decisions. If he's not ready for that, which, again, most rookies just aren't. Most rookies aren't. I need to go with my guy who I, at the very least, know, even with his limitations, even if he has an injured thumb, I know a little bit more of what I'm getting from him. So my thoughts were, if Jimmy could throw a football, I'm going with him. And as much as people talk, oh, he was injured, he was hurt. Was he hurt at the end of that Rams game when he was slicing them up and throwing good passes? Because it looked like he was fine to me. Again, that's being tough. That's being able to play through pain. That's being able to play through injuries. But I felt like, I'm going with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I say all that to say, kind of bring it full circle. If I am an opposing team, if I am someone from a different staff or a rival or whatever, yes, I would prefer you go with Trey Lance because there's a lot of unknown. And if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm like, hey, we finna get after this rookie. I'm finna throw everything at this rookie. We're going to do things to this rookie that he's not prepared for. And it's on Kyle Shanahan to be able to counter that and put his young quarterback in advantage type situations to where it's like, hey, we can limit some of the things where he's seeing and we're going to simplify things for him until we can build on that, right? As opposed to Jimmy Garoppolo, who teams know, hell, 49ers are tough with him because although he's not great, although he doesn't play above the X's and O's, although we know he's going to be kind of a sitting duck, he makes enough throws in situations to keep the 49ers in game, and then Kyle Shanahan and some of his playmakers do the rest. And that makes the 49ers a very tough out when Jimmy Garoppolo plays a full season. So I get it from a rival coach where it's like, hey, if I would rather play against Trey Lance than Jimmy. Now, The tough thing is, will they be saying that same thing heading into Trey Lance's third year, heading into Trey Lance's fourth year, right? And you'd hope, if you're Kyle Shanahan, that the tune on that has changed because now you've seen your young guy kind of develop and everybody knows how dangerous he is. And I'd assume that that's some of the same conversations surrounding guys like Josh Allen early on, who was erratic. Again, when Trey Lance was getting ready for the Houston Texans, I went back and watched some Josh Allen from his rookie year just to kind of see what it looked like, right? You hear the comparisons, you hear about Josh Allen and some of his accuracy issues he had early on. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it come out of college. But you hear about all those things, and you're like, all right, what did he look like in his second start? I didn't even go to his second. I think I went to like his third or fourth start. He was playing against the Packers. It was some of the worst quarterbacking that I've seen. He was all over the place. He was running for his life, just throwing balls backwards, just throwing it as far as he could with no type of touch or anything. Like, it was bad, and obviously he's improved. But again, I bet defensive coordinators then were like, hell yeah, we want to play against this young guy who's kind of lost out there, as opposed to playing somebody that would have been Jimmy Garoppolo in that same situation, right? They would have rather played Josh Allen than Jimmy Garoppolo that year. And so with a report out there like that, it doesn't make me feel any type of way or like, oh man, they're hating on Trey Lance or whatever. It's like, no, like I would rather play against Trey Lance than Jimmy Garoppolo as well if I'm a coordinator.
Right, and I don't think that he was saying that he won't be good or anything like that. I think it's you hit the nail on the head. It's like, it's when Jimmy Garoppolo's in there. Look, I know you guys don't like hearing this. When Jimmy Garoppolo's the quarterback of the team and he's there and he's healthy, they win games. And, that's what makes them so hard is, they run the ball very well and he makes just enough throws. So, yeah.